Hey, welcome back to this new HTML episode in our HTML course. And in this occasion, we are going to cover an example or an exercise about correctly CEO structure. The idea of this episode is not cover new HTML tags. I'm not going to show you different cases we can use, different kinds of the HTML tags. The idea is I'm going to show you an incorrect CEO, CEO, SEO HTML page, and you have to be consistent and you have to be critic and analyze this HTML page and tell yourself, because you can tell me what are the errors, and we are going to solve this error in a few minutes and make the exercise. I say, okay, this section is incorrect for those reasons, or this is not correct for this specific reason that I already told you, or maybe some in other cases maybe I can avoid to mention something because this course is not the best course ever forever, but the idea is just share knowledge and make exercise to improve in HTML skills. So let's dive in this code. As you can see, we are using correctly hidden tags. We are split into different sections about me. Okay, that's nice. We're talking about blog. Okay, I'm not ironically I'm not seeing or watching, no, seeing different I'm not seeing, I didn't see errors just right here. Okay, contact me, that's nice. Okay, and yeah, to the Twitter and GitHub, this is correct. Maybe you're asking about what is GitHub. GitHub is a tool that you are going to use a lot once you continue with your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript or web developer adventure. But I'm going to give you this little hint about GitHub. Is the only mention I'm going to tell you. And maybe portfolio projects. Okay, this is nice, but it's not nice at all. It's something interesting because remember, HTML is based on semantic order or semantic way. So maybe if I start the local server, looks, there is no errors. We see about, blog post, author, blog post, links, project, all looks nice, but what's the deal? So let's continue with the corrections, and maybe some correction could be semantic order or just common sense. So let's dive in. The first correction I'm going to tell you is the header. Header is incomplete. Yeah, once you deploy your HTML landing page and see, okay, there are a lot of different meta tags, but the most important tags are description, maybe if you want to use author, but the other important one is charset. Thank you, GitHub Copilot, to accomplish this. The second one maybe is use a title, but I already use a title, so don't worry about it. And I think in this section is all good. The second one is we are welcoming or greeting our clients, but we can improve this. I need to tell you something that is maybe some things are semantic correct rate, but you can improve that and be more specific, because once you are using semantic tools or you are using semantic structure, you are being so specific and you are being concrete on what elements are you showing in your landing page. This is a lot of helpful, not only for SEO, web crawler, Google Chrome, also useful for people that maybe have disabilities or are not be able to just watch our web page, and being accessible to that kind of disease helps a lot people that doesn't have the same skills as us, the same skill as us. So the first the first correction or thing I need to tell you is use the header. You maybe in all cases is good idea use header, because header allows to split the body in header, main, and footer. So the first correction you already noticed is we are not using anyone, no one, no one. So the idea is start to using header. So the first one is this one, and maybe if you want to give more information about you, you can implement and maybe additional information that is good to know, because yeah, welcome to my webpage, but who are you? So the main idea is maybe talk about, okay, you are, for example, John Doe, and maybe you are web developer. So that's nice, you're welcome. But maybe another thing that we can improve in this is the relevancy about the information, or the importance about the information. What is more important? What is most important? The greeting or the people who are talking about, or the guy we are talking about? The most obvious answer is the guy we are talking about. So the idea is use the guy we are talking about at the beginning, because yeah, you already know that the landing page, if there are not dynamically sections, the idea is just show something or someone. So if you are selling something, you are going to be clear at the first moment, okay, I am selling this marker, or going to selling this product. So the first information that the user has to see is who are you talking about, or what are you talking about. So that's nice. Let's continue with the other one. We can improve this using the main section, because we are include all the information about our landing page. We are talking about someone, John Doe. So John Doe, you are welcome. Maybe if you ask me, in the future footer, we used to contain the contact information, and also relate with social media, and the maybe relate but important information like portfolio. But if you ask me, the portfolio needs some much more relevancy, so we are going to move these two up, but we are going to get main until just right there. That's nice, but also we are going to get this portfolio and just implement maybe in this section, but I think it's not the definitive section, but it's something that works at this moment. And the last one is footer. So use footer just right there, and just right there, and it's done. Maybe if the document doesn't look great as you want, you can use this tool. Okay, first of all, how can I open this in Visual Studio Code? You have to use Ctrl Shift and P. With Ctrl Shift and P, you open the command palette. Also, if you don't know how to work, maybe you can look for in Google Chrome like how to open a command bar in Visual Studio Code, and you can see how it's open maybe in Windows or Linux or whatever. And in this one, we are going to look for the format document, and maybe I'm using this biome, but also we can use the HTML length feature. That is something that is already installed in Visual Studio Code. So we are going to use the default formatter for HTML files. So let's go ahead, and as you can see, we improve the readability or web page. So the next one is about the navigation yeah, the navigation section. Let me use comments to remark the different changes we are doing. In this case, meta char set. That's nice. Maybe the header, main, and footer is not necessary at all. And in this case, we didn't have a navigation bar. That's right, we don't have a navigation bar. So the idea is create a navigation section because it's something so basic in whatever HTML page. So I'm going to copy the code I already have, and paste in the main section. Okay. Bit notation. The navigation bar is always on the header, so it's better that we use this in the header, so don't worry about it. We can also open and format again. As you can see, the readability improve. And the navigation section is done, and let's go with the sections. Maybe if you already remember what is the section tag, you remember that we are not using section, and all these elements are sections. We are using div. If you ask me what is the utility about div, div is like a generic tag to group another tags. Is the only advantage or the only use about div. Div was one of the most used HTML tags because on the past there does not exist a lot of different HTML tags, and people used to use this div tag to just group things. But right now we have a lot of different and semantic HTML tags, and the idea is use that HTML tags instead of about div. So we're going to make the first change, that is div, and in this case we are going to use section. Maybe my tool is not working so well, and we have to connect the section with the navbar and array. You know, guys, how to do this, and is using the ID, and in this case it's just all about the information. Is not a big deal. Maybe it's just a correction at the beginning, but this information has another tricks that you maybe can look for in other sites, but it's something that I'm not going to cover because maybe it's depend on the context. So we have the block section. The block section has a lot of change. One of these is change div with section. Okay, that's nice. And we have to connect or link the section, like, because we are talking about the block. The first one is maybe we are not being clear a lot, because if we are going to introduce this section, we have to use at least an hidden net tag to give an idea what is about this section. We are talking about check out my blog. Well, okay, that's nice, but it's better use only or just blog. And the other one is give importance or relevance to this tag, and is using h or hidden to at the same we did in about section. The other one is use the semantic correct HTML tags about these blocks, because do you remember we have section and also we have article. Remember article is maybe when we are talking about a specific topic of the global topic, and in this particular case we are going to talk about the blog section about this guy, and we have to use instead div, we are going to use article just right there. And maybe also we can improve this using a header, because a header is we can use again because we are talking about another piece of information about the main topic, so we can use header, main, footer as well. So let's take, I don't know, the blog post, maybe h3. Okay, the last one h3 was wrong because it has the same level that as the h4, so we are going to h3 just right there, and before we are going to include the information maybe at the header. Okay, at least this depends maybe, so don't worry, you can put the information wherever you want, maybe in the header or in the footer. maybe in the main section is where at least you are going to talk about something specific about the person, and all depends on the context and what are you talking about. And the last one is maybe remove this author, and that is done. So the second blog post, I'm sorry, I would like to give this ID attribute, I'm sorry. And section is great. Well, the section correction is great. Okay. And this one happens the same. It's just article. You're right there. You can use a header and repeat, I'm sorry, and repeat the same strategy. Blog post 2, the author, and maybe a short information about the content. And maybe I think we are done with this blog section, and let's see with the portfolio. The portfolio, remember, we bring up from the footer because it's not a good side about our position about the portfolio. And the portfolio, we are going to also use maybe the section. Please, Copilot, don't take my job, thank you, and use the portfolio section. And maybe the same change we did at the past with about is change this, check out my portfolio, about maybe just portfolio project that we already have this section. Maybe checkout is something that is not necessary at all because it's just like an action, like an invitation. And if the user is already on our page, is because they already has an intention to watch our content. So it's not necessary you say, hey, check my portfolio, or you're welcome to this amazing portfolio. But all depends on your personality. But check out my portfolio is something that is not necessary at all. So remember this one. We can remove this div because it's not necessary at all, and use this list that was correct, it was semantic correctly, so it's not a change, just right there. And in the filter section, we can also maybe use something interesting because we are also talking about section. So section is necessary because we are talking about the contact information part, like just right there, like, hey, email me in this and contact me. Maybe you can give more relevancy using the heading to contact, and before you also can use the p element, use email, and use an anchor tag to redirect to the mail to dot johndoeexample.com. Mail to is a shortcut that allows user to go their corresponding email client and write the email that the person need to send to the John Doe or client, for example. And in this section, we can use a visibility piece of information, like the email, if the guy are not interested to click this. So you are welcome to just copy the email contact. And the last section is the nav. Maybe it should be like, or works like a nav bar, because are you giving resource to travel to another pages? So that's nice. In this particular case, we can use nav instead of section, because nav and section accomplish the same goals. And just take this content right there. This line just right there is not recommend. If you want to use this line just for separate information, is better using CSS instead HTML tag. Remember, the visual representation or something that you want to change, like styles, depends on CSS. Don't use HTML to try to modify or adjust element position. So we can remove this one and maybe copying these two, because the P, we are not going to use the P or the paragraph, and use another heading to tag, and maybe use like follow me or my social networks. It's not a big deal at all. Social networks, and you are welcome to follow my social networks. We are going to remove the div section just right there, and this space, for example, and maybe once we are using a list, we have to use an unordered list, and each element inside an unordered or order or definition list has to use the list item. Well, remember, in definition list we have to use the dd, if I'm not wrong, the define element that you are talking about, dd and dt. That's right. Maybe it's something that you have to memorize, but don't worry, Google Chrome will be always for you. Well, some cases, so you can use internet to remember, or use ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT, I want to do a definition list, but I don't remember what are the HTML tags. So you are welcome. Is dd, dt, and other ones that I don't remember sincerely, to be honest. And in this section, we are going to use well, the hidden tools not necessary are going to use the LE element and another one just right there, and bring this just right. I'm going to give you an advice, and once you use an anchor to redirect to the user to another resource that is not a resource of yours, maybe your social network, that's right, but you are not the owner of Twitter, or you are not the owner of GitHub, I highly recommend use the href. I don't remember how is this open. Give me a second, because to be honest, I don't remember you right now. Okay, you have to use the target attribute, and maybe the most important is blank, because blank allows you to open. Okay, I don't remember, to be honest. Let's try, maybe, because I don't remember at all, but some of these targets allows to open a new browser tab instead of replace the actual tab. That is so important, because we need the user keeps the most of the time possible on our page, so we have to avoid to give the tools to give to another page, or just keep our attention to another client. That is not the idea. So we are going to go back. Maybe the visibility doesn't change at all in some aspect, but if I click on Twitter, as you can see, I'm not replacing my website. I'm open a new tab. Maybe the standard behavior to open a new tab, for example, about me doesn't change my content, but I can open a new tab using control and click. As you can see, this also works, but the people doesn't use control and click, just click. So let's open, or help to the user open external resource with the target /blank to avoid to the user lost our website, because if we redirect directly, for example, Twitter, the user have to go back, and maybe, I don't know, the user is lazy or is not longer interested on our content, and we are giving tools to avoid our content, and that's not correct. It's something interesting that John Doe exists. I don't download it, to be honest, so good to see you. Ironically, I don't know who is John Doe, so just for responsive terms, I don't know, for responsive stuff. But as you can see, the page is replaced, and the user has to go back just right there, and maybe it's not a good idea. Look, the best is use target blank, but only use target blank once you are redirect to external resource. Maybe it should be a bit annoying if you use it in your own pages. Maybe you remember the Edge, the web browser, the Microsoft web browser, that by default open each different link, and to be honest, I don't like that. I prefer just click and replace my actual page to another one, depending on the context. For example, if I look for, I don't know, puppies in Google Chrome, if I go to a specific page, I'm not worried about to replace the Google Chrome page. I don't have a problem. If I want to go back, I just go back. But I don't like to open a new page. If I see 10 page or 10 different page, open 10 different tabs, and spend my energy or my time closing each different tab. So I prefer maybe in your own resource use the normal behavior, and in external resource use the target slash blank reserve attributes. So I hope this video was helpful. I think this information is useful because semantic relevance is something that all HTML or web developer has to know. At least in the modern development, people also doesn't use this, and that's one of the reasons why the pages are not relevant for Google Chrome and clients getting insatisfied because, hey, why my web page is not at the first results or something like that. So the idea is be good developers, follow a good practice, and make good products. So see you in the next time, and I don't know, take care and continue with the course. See ya.